Hey Chaotic Crew, welcome back to another deck tech. This one's going to be a bit quicker because we got another new commander from Outlaws at Thunder Junction, Kellan the Kid, and he's a 3/3 flying lifelinker. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may cast a permanent with equal or less mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So definitely very fun. You could build this with the new mechanic from Outlaws, Plot. You could do a foretell strategy. I have a couple of those cards in there, but I'm mainly going with, if you could tell by the title, adventures. Now, I think adventures are definitely a bit more on the casual side of things for this kind of deck. You see, it takes a little bit of setup. There's a lot of complicated pieces just because each card is essentially two cards in one, and it can take a while to start up because you have to cast the sorcery or instant side of the adventure, then you cast the creature side, and so it takes a bit for the gears to start turning, if you will. So I think this is a fun deck. It's going to help you fly under the radar a bit, which I think is very important these days in Commander, at least in my pod, right? I tend to build decks that make me a threat pretty early on, so you want to make sure that you are a bit subtle in your game plan, and then start to pop off, and then your opponents don't really know until it's too late. So let's just dig into some of the fun cards here. Now, a lot of our cards are adventure spells, but we do want to make sure we have really good value, really good reasons, payoffs besides just Kellan as to why we're casting our adventures. We got a few of them here. Edgewell Innkeeper draws his card, so does Extraordinary Journey. Gorian doubles our adventure spells, which is nice. And Primeval Bounty, probably an underrated hit here. You're going to get lots of value no matter what spell you cast from here. Tin Collie Hunter, probably one of the best cards we can get because we're going to be putting cards into exile with the adventure, and then you want to be able to cast these big creatures from exile for free with Tin Collie Hunter, so really going to help out a lot there. We have a lot of control pieces. 21 is definitely a big amount, and that is including a couple board wipes like Austere Command or even the Realm Cloaked Giant. And we want a lot because we're not always going to be casting these adventures on their sorcery instant side. Sometimes we're going to get them for free off of Kellan from our hand, or maybe we're going to just have to cast them individually, right, to get blockers in the battlefield. So that can be somewhere where this deck gets a little challenging, but for someone like me who loves a challenge and loves to constantly be thinking right throughout the game, I think this is a really fun strategy to go with. We have a few flash enablers: Alchemist Refuge, Leyline of Anticipation, Vivian Champion of the Wilds, and then Rashmi helps pay off that flash. It's really nice there. Some good ramp pieces. You could definitely take out a few of these more expensive ones like Terramorph or Venture Forth to help make sure that we are really ramping out early on. We have some fun little cards like Soul Talisman that we can get for free off of Kellan, or Mox Tanalite we can get for free off of Kellan, but really the main goal is to be triggering Kellan. So we have a bunch of cards that trigger Kellan. In fact, most of cards from all of these categories will trigger it just because it's an adventure, or can cast itself from exile, or for whatever reason. So we have a bunch of other cards that can trigger Kellan, and then really the highlights of the deck are the cards that can trigger Kellan multiple times, right? And I didn't include Venture Forth, but that'll be down here as well, just because you want to be able to consistently get your Kellan triggers. Ethereal Valkyrie is gonna be foretelling cards from your hand. Fibblethip will help plot cards on the top of your library. Inspiring Refrain is going to draw you 2 cards and then re-exile itself, and then in a few turns, if you make it there, if the game lasts a bit longer, draw more cards and get free 6-drop. Jacob Hauken, really fun card. It's going to take a bit to get there, but once you start casting stuff for free, definitely a great value engine for the deck. The Foretold Soldier, brand new from the Doctor Who set, and pretty much, you're going to keep foretelling it with its ability and then recasting it for 2 mana and get a spell with 4 value or less for free from your hand. And then the Key to the Vault, one of the best cards of the new set, one of the most underrated cards of Outlaws at Thunder Junction, in my opinion. It's going to get you a bunch of free spells. So, really fun deck, and I say we just jump right into this playtest and see how it goes. All right, first one, we've got 2 lands, both tapped, but we have a ramp piece. I say we go for it, right? Let's just try it out. Draw a card. Okay, Ettercap is not bad. Let's play a Croson Verge tapped. And then go next turn. Okay, this is much better. We'll play this forest and rampant growth for an island. And then we will pass the turn. And then next turn, turn 3, we're getting a plains. So we could play the plains and Kellan. Doesn't really do a whole lot for us. So I say we play the Monster Bridge tapped. So we get the hideaway. And we have some good targets. I think the best one is honestly this Foretold Soldier. So I'm going to hide that one away. The rest will go in the bottom. And we will go ahead and... This actually doesn't tap for white. So we're going to tap 2 and sack it and get an plains and a forest. So let's grab a Tangled Islet, or Islet, excuse me. I don't know why. In my brain, I always say Tangled Islet. And then a Canopy Vista is pretty good too. So we'll grab both of those, shuffle. They come untapped. All right, and then turn 4, we've got some solid mana going here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana going for just turn 4. We could play Kellan, right, and get some good stuff going, hold some answers up. We don't really have a whole lot we can do though if we play Kellan, so we might want to set up more on that end. I say we could play Gorian and hold up an answer, which if we're playing against a bunch of flyers, that could help, right? Or a bunch of, if we need removal, we can play Gorian to copy our adventures. I think we play Kellan, right? We play Kellan, we hold up answers, and wait till next turn. I'd say we probably will go ahead and exile the Sword Coast Serpent, or if someone plays a non-creature spell, we can counter it with the Sapphire Dragon adventure. And then on our next turn, if we draw a land, which we don't, unfortunately, we can go ahead and actually pay a green to exile this Woodland Acolyte, bring the Croson Verge to our hand, put it on the battlefield, and then tap 3 for the Woodland Acolyte, and then we will end up drawing a card when it enters the battlefield. But on cast, we will go ahead and play this Extraordinary Journey. And then, so this will actually resolve first, and then because it's resolving first, then this will enter the battlefield. We'll actually draw 2 cards. So kind of getting a good engine going here. This is how the deck is really supposed to play. We have some good adventures in hand. We have some ways to abuse the adventures, and now ways to draw cards. So we're really doing well in this game. I think a great sort of showcase of how this deck wants to play, and is a pretty average showing of it. So let's redo another one. All right, we got a 3-lander here. We got Ramp in the hand and some adventure spells. So yeah, I say we go for it. It's a pretty decent hand we could do here. So let's start turn 1. We do have a couple tap lands. So let's start off with this Port Town. I think that's the best plan there. We can draw for turn 2. And let's play the Panorama. Let's go ahead and sack it for a forest. We really need that green mana in this deck for it to, do well. Next turn, we draw an island, which is good because we need to play it. And we can cast our commander. I think that's the play here. We could also cast the Seasonal Ritual sorcery adventure here to add a mana of any color. Right, and that then cast Kellan, and then we have a card in exile that we could use, but there's not really anything in our hand we want to get out for free, so I say we keep it in the hand and just cast Kellan. You could have cast it, get a mana, and then keep it in exile, but we just cast Kellan here on turn 3, and then turn 4, we do get another land, so we could have, I guess, exiled it. Maybe it's always, when in doubt, exile it, and if you want to cast it. But I really want to cast this Beanstalk Giant ramp spell. So we're going to play the Glacial Fortress, because we have an island. And we'll go ahead and tap 3 for Beanstalk Giant. We'll grab another forest, if we can get to the library. Right, so that's what we paid. We got a forest. It comes in untapped. Sorry, this is an exile. And we have another 2 mana we could, bear down as well. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. I think that's probably what we'd want to do, right? Especially turn 4. There's usually some troublesome artifacts. So go ahead and get rid of one of those. Exile that. And then we go to the next turn. We've got some big hitters in our exile. But I think what we want to do is make our own luck. Look at the top 3 cards. I can plot one of them for free. I think we'll plot 3 of Valkyrie, and the rest go in the bottom. Oh no, sorry, the rest go into my hand. Excuse me. So yeah, this is sort of what I mean when I say this deck can take a second to get its gears turning, right? We only have Kellan on the battlefield, but we have so much going on in future turns that it's really not too bad. And I think, like I said, this is a deck that can sort of fly under the radar a bit. Your opponents do get to see what else in your exile, right, when you're doing these sorceries, or these adventures, excuse me. But I think they're pretty underwhelming, right, by themselves. Opponents aren't going to be as threatened by these cards as they are the strong hitters we see in Commander today. So I think this is a really underplayed version of Kellan. I think you should go out and try it, have fun. It's a, like I said, pretty budget build, but otherwise, really hope you enjoyed the deck tech. Been a fun time here. I know Kellan's going to be super fun if you play him any which way. You can build a hand sandwich around him, he'll be fun, but I think this is a really fun way to go about it. And I just want to say thanks so much for tuning in. This is a quicker deck tech. Hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments what you'd add to Kellan. Let me know what you want me to build. I can see what I can try out, especially for the new Modern Horizon set coming out. I know there's going to be some spicy commanders coming out of there. So just like and subscribe if you enjoy the content and want to see more, and I'll keep doing it every week. That being said, I'm out for today, but I'll see you next Friday. Take care, Chaotic Crew. Bye.